Hey, I figured that while I was sitting here answering 100,000 comments about the old ACDC rumors, I would do a live stream and address them individually. Okay, so first off, the post that I posted that said that Axl Rose was going to be filling in, um, totally not true. It looked already kind of fishy, but it said that it was based on a recent interview with Sebastian Bach, which doesn't exist. There's no recent interview with Sebastian Bach where he says anything about ACDC and or Axl Rose. And it looks like what happened was um, somebody tweeted about the upcoming ACDC tour and then included a 2016 article interview with Sebastian Bach talking about Axl Rose having filled in for ACDC's Brian Johnson in 2016 in a photo on the tweet for seemingly no apparent reason. I've asked him why he would do that because, dude, but we'll see if he comes back and answers me. And then the other rumor I'm seeing is ACDC at Aftershock, which I totally think is going to happen, but is definitely still just a rumor. But there's a graphic out there right now that I believe is clearly, it has to be a fan made graphic because there's nothing at Danny Wimmer Presents to indicate that ACDC is playing Aftershock yet. So I think a fan just made like a very cool looking graphic that says ACDC is at Aftershock. So don't be fooled by that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's see. The other news is Primus doing a massive search for a drummer, which I think is weird because Les Claypool already has like personally, like in his own personable in his own personal multiple bands, Les Claypool has probably half a dozen drummers. um but okay, Primus is doing a worldwide and galaxy-wide search for a new drummer, so good on him. I love me some Primus, and I mean, a lot of Les's side projects are just that, and a lot of those drummers that he uses in those projects are part of other bands, so maybe they are truly looking for a drummer that can be available full-time to Primus for the upcoming next few years, because I believe they're doing like a big anniversary tour kind of thing coming up. Aside from just the 2 shows that are coming up at the Fox Theater in Oakland, which look awesome, especially since somehow the Limbo Maniacs were resurrected for this. I would really love to see the Limbo Maniacs because I remember seeing them at the Stone and it was epic. Dun, dun, dun. Sorry, I'm like, hi, Chew. Hey, Red. Hey, Lori, how you doing? No, actually, we have a new studio system in place where I can kick up the heat in the evenings as long as I remember to put it back down to freezing before I leave. And it's not, it's weird. It's nobody's fault. Like it's partly the building. Um, but it truly does get stupid hot in here apparently overnight. I've come in early, and when I come in early, it's hot in here, like hot. Like you want that AC cranking at like 68 degrees. But at some point in the night, it just it just starts blasting that AC to keep this at 68 and gets below 68. So I don't know. But so far, I as long as I turn the thermostat back down before I leave, it's fine. So I don't have to freeze anymore. Yay! Which is great because honestly, I have felt a lot better this year since I've not had that thing blasting on my head. You can see it, right? You can see it like right there. That whole big giant square. That square. That square right there. That's an air vent. It's like an industrial air vent. Hi, Kelly. How's it going? So yeah, so that thing blasting on my head was just not good for me in any way, shape, or form. And I'm glad that it's not. Yeah. Did you guys see Jason Bonham got fired? I'm like, what is in the water? Like, first off, don't get me wrong, I love Sammy Hagar. I ain't trying to talk trash. I mean, but he's apparently a ruthless businessman, you know? Jason Bonham had to leave the tour for a couple of shows and because his mom had a stroke. You know, his mom had a stroke, so he rushed home to England to be with her. And then fortunately she recovered. But after she recovered and they finished the tour, Sammy told Jason, you know, we're going to keep going forward with Kenny Arnoff. And I don't know if that's because like Arnoff joined them for those last few dates and they just really dug that like chicken foot lineup back again, you know, or because I mean, Sammy, much like Les Claypool, has like a half a dozen drummers in his bands, right? Um, to choose from. So or maybe when they needed somebody at the last minute, Kenny Arnoff was like, listen, dude, I'm not coming out if it's just a shitty fill-in gig. I'm only coming out if you're signing me for something real. And Sammy had to barter that in order to get Kenny out to fill in for those last dates. I mean, there's a couple different scenarios that could happen here. But ultimately, it does sound pretty harsh to be like, yeah, his mom had a stroke, so he went to go be with her because she could have died, and then you fired him. Brutal. I'd be surprised if Sammy comments on it. You know, he'll probably just let it go. I mean, in the end, his band, his rules, right? And it's not like he hasn't taken care of Jason in the past. It's not like Jason hasn't been a longtime member of the Wabos and whatnot. And it's not like Jason may not be back in the future. You know, who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Oh my God, PJ, you're getting creepy with this. Also, why would you trade me a dishwasher? Anybody that needs to hug me that badly gets no hugs because it's just getting weird now. Thanks for making it weird, PJ. So weird. Sorry, I'm trying to see if is anybody still on Twitch ever? It feels like Twitch has been a dead zone for me. I know my friend Charlie was tapping it on Twitch periodically, and then she couldn't anymore because I'm twitching at the same time she's twitching. But I ended up having to push things back a little bit because of the just everything getting busy and things being kind of cray. And you know what? It's the end of the year, and I think I'm just really running out of steam. Oh, okay. I don't know why my mom was just trying to call me and then hung up. Did my mom just butt dial me? Let's see. Anywho, so that's a big no on Twitch. I'm thinking about doing Instagram. Does anybody care if I do a live on Instagram in addition or instead of any of these? The only reason I haven't done Instagram to begin with is because Instagram seems to require some additional steps. It's not like the easy click, click, click like I just do with StreamYard. Which StreamYard does for Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. Sherry, don't be mean. You can hug PJ. PJ gets hugs. Don't act like nobody ever hugs that man. I don't know why he's trying to get him out of me. It's getting weird. John, here you go, PJ. John could use a new dishwasher and you could use some hugs. So you guys work that out. Hey, Howie, how's it going? Which stream do I look at more for comments? Well, that's the thing, John, is I get all the streams aggregated into one. So I can see all the comments at once, whether it doesn't matter where they're coming from, Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. So I guess the only hiccup is that you can only see the comments from the medium that you're on. So for example, if you are on Facebook, right? You're on Facebook. You can see Howie and John and PJ but you can't see Lori or Red or Chew. Hang on a second. I got to read this. Sorry, I got to answer this real quick. So I guess if I did do Instagram, I would have to have like my phone handy so that I could see the Instagram comments. Because I don't know if the Instagram comments propagate to StreamYard. I got to look more into that. Hey, Rodney. Oh, thanks, Red. I don't know. Where did I get this? This looks like a Bloomingdale's or a Nordstrom rack. Trying to look all classy, but also metal. Hey, Davey, what's happening? Thundra, look, even you used to be on Twitch all the time too, and now you have converted to YouTube. What is up, dude? Also, how's things at the pot store? You know I live for the pot shop updates. Hey, Brett, what's happening? Hey, what is going on with this storm? You know what? I haven't really looked at it. I don't know how sketch it's going to be. Sorry, I got to do some math for this email that I'm sending. More math. Let's see. Okay, where were we? I made the necklace classy. Nah, I think it was classy to begin with. I made it metal. You quit working at the pot shop a while back. Too much stress from crappy customers and no security guard. Who has a weed dispensary with no security guard? That's crazy. What are you doing now, dude? I mean, with the milligrams you consume, I don't know how you could not work in the industry. Like, dude, you smoke enough weed to kill a horse. Hey, Gerard. Lamont and Snelly have not gone anywhere to my knowledge. It only happened a couple of days ago, and we're all kind of still reeling from it. Whatever they end up doing, we all wish them the best. We hope for the best. I'm just gonna say the radio industry as a whole, emphasis on whole, fired people across the nation. Every single radio corporation fired people. Every single one. It's a huge combination of factors as well, right? I mean, radio is owned by corporations, and corporations are slow to adjust. And radio has long been a solid marketing tool, but digital has become the stronger contender. And a lot of that is imaging, right? Because everybody's in their phones all the time. So you've got companies that think that they need to put all their budget into digital marketing. So digital has really siphoned off a lot of the revenue that used to come to radio. And we're in a major market, which is very expensive to operate in. And like I said, it's been happening nationwide. So if somebody can afford to keep Lamont and Snelly, I hope that happens. But if that happens, I would be surprised if it was right away. Because this is the end of the fiscal year and every single corporation just shit can people across the board. There are DJs out there out of work all over the place. Excellent, talented people with good ratings. Not their fault at all. This is all just the result of years and years of corporate radio consolidation. So if they go someplace, I'll let you know, but I'm sure they'll let you know, follow their Facebook. That seems to be the one that they're most active on. And then I'm sure if there's an announcement, it'll come there first. Oh shit, Rodney, I missed that. Another atmospheric river. Bobby, where do you see that? Where do you see Aftershock saying AC/DC is coming? Because I just looked at DWP Presents and I just looked at the Aftershock website and neither one of them says it. And then I did like a Google News search and I don't see anything there. Did it happen in the last 5 minutes? Okay, because I'm looking right now. Aftershock website. Blah, 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 get ready, October 2nd through 5th, yada, yada, etc., etc. Nothing about AC/DC. Absolutely nothing. I do see that there's a graphic out there, and the graphic says Aftershock AC/DC 2025, but it does not appear to be in any way, shape, or form associated with anyone official. So it looks to be like fan created art. So yeah, sorry, Bobby. I do believe AC/DC will be on Aftershock, but that's just a rumor. That's my guess. Clearly it's a lot of other people's guess as well. But it's not official. And there's another rumor out there that they're going to announce on Monday or Tuesday of next week. Which would make sense if they were announcing Monday or Tuesday for a Friday on sale. and then to put the tickets on sale on Black Friday. That would absolutely be a legit marketing strategy. I would not be surprised if that happens. But at this point, zero official on that. Marlon, I said pot. Your neighbors are growers. Dude, don't narc your neighbors off. What's up? Every year in October, it smells like a skunk. Yeah, you know what? The whole reason, this is a fun story. The whole reason I bought my house is because my husband at the time's weed dealer and bestie was around the corner. So as you can imagine, we were driving over there often. And on one of many trips over to his house, we drove by what is now my house because I saw the coming soon sign and got my real estate agent on that shit. Because this was like in 2004. And I don't know if you remember the boom that was happening at that point. But in 2004, housing in the Bay was nuts. Everything I tried to buy was like multiple offers. Do you have $50,000 more? And I'd be like, no, I don't have $50,000 more. I didn't even have 20,000 of what I was promising you. God damn it. So, so because we drove by the house and it just kept saying coming soon, coming soon, coming soon, coming soon. The people that owned it before me were kind of slackers. And they took forever to get that house on the market. So it got to the point where we were driving by that house for like a month straight. My real estate agent got to know their real estate agent very well. And the millisecond they put that house on the market, I was there. Like 9 a.m. the day it went on the market. I was there. We did the walkthrough. I'm like, good enough. And we put in the offer and we had already asked them what they wanted. So we knew they wanted, we knew how much they wanted. And we knew that they wanted a 2-month rent back that would come out of the deal so that they could stay there for an extra couple of months because it took them like over a month to even get the house on the market. When we walked through it, it was not staged. It was not nice. It was like these people were still living there and it was just clearly going to take them a while to get all their shit together to get out of the house, you know, which was fine with us because we were renting month to month. So, so we offered them asking plus a 2-month rent back. And they accepted it by close of business that first day it went on the market, which was amazing because back in 2004, no one got a house for the asking price. Everything was multiple offers, like crazy. In fact, after we were in escrow, I got a call from a house I'd put in an offer on. And it was funny because when I put in the offer, it's the one that was 20 grand over what I felt comfortable asking. But it was a 4-bedroom house instead of a 3-bedroom house. And I was like, I guess if I get another roommate, I can kind of do this. But I was really nervous about it. Plus the house was like deep in Concord. It was going to be like another 10, almost 15 minutes off the freeway to get to the house. Which at the time I was working at KSJO and I was working at Live Nation. So I was driving all over the Bay and working like crazy 18-hour plus days. And the idea of another 15 minutes past where I was like commuting from now was just another 15 minutes at 3 o'clock in the morning when you haven't had more than 4 hours of sleep a night for 6 nights in a row is not good. So when they called me back from this the $20,000 over what I wanted to pay price, they said, you know, we've got multiple offers, but we really like your financing. Would you like to add $50,000 to your offer to compete? And I was like, no, like I said, no, that's 20,000 more than I was willing to pay. And now you want me to put another 50 on top of the 20 I was already like uncomfortable with? No, thanks, but no thanks. So the funny thing is, after I got in escrow with my house, which was BT Dubs, almost $40,000 less. I think it was $35. I think I paid $35,000 less for my house than I would have for that house. And my house is right by the freeway. They called me when we were in escrow and we're like, hey, turns out all those other offers, the financing fell through. Would you be okay if we accepted your original offer? And I was like, nope. Bye-bye. Found my dream home. Pot dealer right around the corner. At any point, the short of this long story is that every October, we were all on standby because people were constantly jumping his fence and trying to steal the weed. From September to October, he had to go on like a nighttime, daytime reverse schedule so that he was up all night keeping an eye on the plants because people were constantly coming at his house. I mean, at one point, they were sitting there watching TV when they heard this thunk on the roof. And I swear to God, somebody threw a ladder up on the front of the garage and jumped over the garage roof and then tried to drop down into the backyard to steal their weed. And I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with people? So, yeah, so the moral of this story is if your neighbors are growing weed, don't tell anyone. You know, you're just going to attract thieves. Alexa just said it's windy there as well. Yeah, it was windy this morning, Rodney, and it was raining when I left, but it wasn't like atmospheric river raining, so that makes me nervous. What's up, Lance? Good to see you again. Thunder, you just hit whichever stream you see first. That's funny because they all turn up at the exact same time. Hey, Shireen. Downpour in Concord. Ugh. All right. You know what I might do is I might check. Yeah, I might have to check the storm conditions before I decide to leave. Hey, Jacob. You're having fun listening to me type. Aw, is it a 14-hour day for you? If it's any consolation, I know what that feels like. I'm glad you were able to hear 107.7 The Bone, though. Listen on the Bone app. Yeah, I got to do my nails. I know they're a nightmare. I have decided not to. I just was like, forget about it. I'm not going to deal with it. Thanks, Michelle. You know, we're all concerned, honestly, industry wide. But it is what it is, right? I mean, what was it? Let's see. I quit in 2015, right? And I was set to come back. Not a lot of people know this, but I was in talks with Zach Tyler to come back when the Weed Man retired in 2016 or 17. Pretty sure it was 16. And that's when everyone went bankrupt. So Cumulus, I had my interview and I was waiting for them to call for like the second interview or whatever they wanted to do to follow up. And Steven retired, and then Cumulus missed a $26 million payment. And then they filed for bankruptcy. And I think 6 months later, Clear Channel missed a $100 million payment. And then 2 months later, filed for bankruptcy. And this was like in 2015, right? So everyone has been in this like it took like 2 years, I think, to get through the bankruptcy. And I think once they came out of bankruptcy, everything is we're still in recovery is what I'm trying to say. We are still in recovery from that. And then the pandemic hit. And now, no, Jim, it's got nothing to do with Joe Biden. Fucking nothing, dude. Come on, please. Like I said, this has been going on since 1996, when Bill Clinton signed the Communications Act because he was corporate friendly, even though y'all think Democrats hate corporations and hate commerce and hate business. No. Bill Clinton was all up in that. And he signed the Communications Act of 1996, which allowed for more ownership of a single entity in both radio and television, and that used to be illegal. And that's when Clear Channel kicked it into high gear. Companies like Cumulus and Citadel and ABC all started buying up everything that they could get their hands on. And then these companies started buying each other and started merging. And it was basically like trading cards. You know, you got all these giant corporations sitting around buying up everything and owning everything. And finally hitting that market limit of, oops, that gives us too many stations in San Francisco. We're going to have to sell a couple. Who wants them? Well, now nobody wants them. Now we are expensive to operate, and our advertising numbers are questionable when compared to digital advertising numbers. Me personally, I still very much believe in the power of radio, and I've been doing everything I can to support it. Marketing wise, I think we still reach a shit ton of people. Plus, we also have a digital element that people aren't considering, right? How many people are listening on the Bone app? A ton. How many people are following us on socials? A lot. So we have the opportunity to do a digital and radio marketing campaign together that makes a real impact, in my opinion. The problem I think we're running up against right now, and this happened to me just recently when I was talking to a promoter. They said to my face, "We don't have a budget for radio," and I was like, "Oh, you don't? You don't even think about radio? Okay. Um, how are you going to sell those metal shows? I mean, you guys tell me. Would you go to a metal show if you just knew about it? Or would you be like, oh, okay, that's something I might do until I tell you the Bone is going to be there? Does that like make you want to go more? Or is it like, fuck it, if I'm going to go, I'm going to go. It's got nothing to do with like the scene. I just like the band if I like the band. And because that could be another trend that's really affecting this, right? I mean, everybody kind of got so isolated during the pandemic that we got used to it. And we stopped having like this familial kind of group feeling that we all used to get from the metal scene, from radio stations, from things that bonded us as people. I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, Jim, it's got nothing to do with fucking Biden or Trump. Ugh, so tired of the election. Dog and Joe got fired from 93.7, 20 years. Wow. It is, Gerard. It's corporate savings across the board and across corporations and across industries. Let's not pretend this is just radio, okay? While I have outlined a lot of very specific to radio issues, absolutely. Corporations are laying people off all over the place. Tech has been dumping people left and right. The video game industry. I have a friend who got laid off who was a video game developer for 25 years. But what happened was during the pandemic, video games went whoo, right? And all the video game developers were like, holy shit. All the video game companies were like, oh my God, we can't keep these things on the shelves. We have got to make more faster so that we can keep selling them to people as fast as we can before this stops happening. And that's what they did. They hired a ton of people. They fast-tracked development. They started spitting out as much as they could, as fast as they could. And here we are now, and it's all slowed down. So what do? It's not a fucking union gig, right? None of this is union. It's all corporate. And when it's corporate and not union, seniority don't mean shit. In fact, seniority makes you the bigger target because the longer you've been there, the more money you're making. The more money you're making, the bigger target on your back. The bigger the paycheck, the bigger the target when it comes to corporate economics. This is why people join unions. And this is why corporations bust unions, because this is the problem, right? Everybody wants to be like, oh my God, they were there for so long. How could this happen? Well, they have no union protections for seniority. And the bigger the paycheck, the bigger the target. Corporations can do whatever the hell they want. And, you know, I mean, do you fire Dog and Joe or do you fire everyone else that works there and still not recoup as much as you would if you fire Dog and Joe, right? Morning shows are expensive. Long-running morning shows, even more expensive. Corporations have been suppressing wages for years. I don't know if you've seen this where people are like, wages have been stagnant for all this time. And it's like, well, yeah, that's because they're kind of making everybody go backwards. You know, people used to get cost of living increases. That used to be a standard in the 70s and the 80s. And then in the 90s, we had like a bit of a recession, Bush economics. And next thing you know, this whole "you're lucky to have a job" thing comes out, and everybody's like asking you to take a pay cut, and it never really changed. It never really went back to we value people and we're going to help them, unless you worked in the tech sector, right? And then it was like, oh yeah, we're going to give you everything. And now the tech sector is all, we're going to tighten some belts. We're going to fire a bunch of people. We're going to stop doing your laundry for you. So yeah, it's happening everywhere. Hey Dan, rainy day greetings indeed. I'm inside, so I haven't seen the rain since I got here. Hey John, video has killed the radio star. Yeah. And actually, I mean, honestly, like digital has killed the video star too. TV stations are struggling as well. PJ, did you get fired as unofficial intern? You were never an intern. Stop. Hey Vince. I am glad to still be on air as well. I think part of that is because I have always kept my job at Live Nation. I still work shows on the weekends when I can, and I don't make as much money. I mean, part of the reason, and I think this is a pretty frank discussion to have, but part of the reason Chasta hired me was because it was really hard to offer this money to somebody who was going to have to move here, right? I was born here. My entire support system is here. I have second jobs and side hustles where I can make extra money here. I have been in my house for 20 years. So my mortgage with property tax and insurance after 20 years costs less than it would cost most people to rent a studio apartment. So a lot of these fiscal factors are working in my favor in terms of keeping me on. Hopefully, it's also because you like me. Hopefully, I do a good job. But also, I come cheap. I mean, that's facts. Yeah, John, the AC/DC announcement was entirely right under your comment, right? Isn't it under your comment where you tagged Mitch and then he came on and was like, yeah. And I was like, bro, like, why? Oh, why did you attach a 2016 interview with Sebastian Bach to your AC/DC rumors tweet from now? Like, who does that? And then the other outlets that picked it up, how the hell did they make the leap that Axl Rose was going to be singing for AC/DC? Like, anybody who like actually read that post, unless Mitch had changed it, anybody who actually read that post would not have gotten that from it. So I think what happened is I think alternative.net took some real liberties or was just not paying attention or was really desperate for that headline grab and just made shit up. And then a couple other outlets picked it up and regurgitated it using them as a source, alternative.net. But when I clicked back to alternative.net, I think that's who it was, either they had changed their article or their article never said anything about it to begin with. I don't know. It's sketch. Because that's the internet, right? It's not like it's print. It's not like somebody printed this and we can go back and see what the original version is. I mean, I suppose we could, like, if I really wanted to make the effort, I could go to the alternative.net website in the Wayback Machine and see what it said, when it first was posted, but I don't care that much. They fucked up. Not me. I mean, to be fair, I that's why I put right on the top of the headline, allegedly, Sebastian Bach said this in an interview, and nope, he fucking didn't. Because once I went, and to be fair, I was in a hurry yesterday when I posted and ran, and then came back to it this morning and hadn't really looked closely enough into it. And then this afternoon, I finally had a chance to do some clicking, and that's when I realized, like, it already was like in the back of my head, like, where's this original interview? Why can't I link to it? And the first article had a link to something on Facebook that had been deleted. So I assumed that the interview had been posted and deleted, but that I would look more into it later. And then when I went to look more into it later, could not find this recent interview from Sebastian Bach that they were talking about. Didn't exist. Dondra, you pretty much been busy because it's the time of year where you're sluggish as fuck and barely do anything but sleep otherwise. You and me both, brother. This hibernation is upon me and it is hard to fight. L&T should get a podcast. L&T have a podcast. They've been doing a Bonus Bone podcast for years now, and you can find it at 1077thebone.com and on the Bones YouTube page. So if the guys decide that they want to put a podcast forward in the future, they're already great at it. And I think that last I heard, they were talking to somebody who was also a former Cumulus Radio employee about doing that. Because a lot of former Cumulus employees have gone into podcasting or online. Because people get fired from radio all the fucking time. That's why I always have a second job. Never quit your day job. If you go into radio, this is what I tell people. If you go into radio, never quit your day job. And if you go into radio, you better fucking love it because it's going to rip your heart out and stomp on it. It's still going to rip your heart out and stomp on it, but at least you will have loved it. Oh, wow. 40 mile an hour gusts. Jesus. Well, Thunder, if you're in Missouri, I don't know. Is that tornado country? I was at my brother's house this last weekend after my nephew's play, and they were watching the Twister reboot, and it's fucking terrible, by the way. Do not waste your time. I mean, I was spending time with my nephews, so to me that was like quality time because we were just talking shit the whole time. But yeah, do not watch that movie. It's awful. And now it makes me think that tornadoes are everywhere. Just everywhere. All the news on AC/DC is squirrely. Yeah. Yeah, Rodney, it is. All the news is squirrely. But it wouldn't, I mean, all of it's plausible, but the Axl thing looks completely bogus. It is likely that they're going to announce a North American tour very soon. But that hasn't happened yet. So, we'll see. Like I said, and I still think that's going to be Aftershock. And somebody out there made an Aftershock AC/DC graphic, and it's also bogus at this point. All a rumor, but the rumors are fun sometimes, as long as nobody gets hurt. I mean, how is anybody going to get hurt, right? Unless somebody punches Axl in the throat because they're afraid he's going to be fronting AC/DC. That would be terrible. Jesus. You know what? People are crazy. Somebody might do something like that. That would be awful if like a rumor caused, I hate people. I can't with people right now. Robert, disco is cool. I do not know what you're referencing. Hi, Mike. Hey, Cliff. How are things in Fairfield? It's probably pretty windy, huh? I saw some pictures from my mom's house this morning, but that's because she got a new gazebo and it looks awesome. And it's very, very well constructed to survive the wind. Hey, Justine. How you doing? Hey, Kat. Hey, Tracy. Oh, that's crazy. You don't need to call me a goddess. I mean, you don't have to stop, but you don't need to. Just FYI. Rodney, you can listen on Amazon Music. Why would I listen on Amazon Music? Why would I give Jeff Bezos my money? As it is, I'm trying to like not use Amazon at all. And I think I've told you guys already my Amazon scam. So if I haven't, here's my Amazon scam. And as soon as they bust me on it or I can't do it anymore, then I'm not renewing my Amazon. If I do renew my Amazon, it's going to be just for Prime. And if that's the case, then it's probably just going to be for like The Boys and maybe like one or two other shows. I'll treat Amazon like I treat Apple TV. I'll tap in for a couple of months and then I'll tap out. So here's my Amazon scam, right? I was not in radio during the pandemic. I was in concerts. And as you all know, concerts were kaput for 18 months. So we had zero income for 18 months, which made us eligible for state assistance. State assistance included unemployment and food stamps, EBT card. It turns out that if you load your EBT card as a method of payment onto your Amazon account, you become eligible for discounted Amazon. So I pay something like $7 a month for Amazon. I think that's what it comes to. It's like it comes to something like half of what Amazon is now charging people, which is outrageous, huge, ridiculous amounts of money. But I get like Walmart Plus for free on my Amex. I don't want it. I just get it. Like I hate Walmart too. Like I don't want to buy anything. I really need to just not buy things, but there are some things I can't avoid. You know, if you run out of toilet cleaner, you got to buy fucking toilet cleaner. So I'm trying to just do that. But obviously I can't go Bezos free because Whole Foods still has the best produce in my neighborhood outside of the farmer's market. And I can't always get to the farmer's market because it's only Sundays at like Sunday mornings, which you can imagine is not my best time. I might be able to actually get more of the Concord farmers markets now. I used to not be able to get back to town from the station in time, but we are looking towards a work from home model, which may allow me to be in Concord and off the air at the same time that the Concord farmers market is still going. That would be cool. And then I could knock that Bezos bucks down a little bit more. Hey, Jim. Yeah, everyone hates thieves. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying don't grow. I'm saying, keep it on the DL. 2 years you guys got ripped off right before harvest? Jesus. Yeah. I mean, it is devastating. I mean, my friend actually did get ripped off once. And at one point he was like, that's it, I'm getting a gun. And I was like, be careful with that because you shoot somebody and accidentally kill them in California, forget about it. I said, get paintball guns. Get paintball guns and then ratchet them up to the highest power you can. Because if all you do is put an eye out, that's their fault. And those paintball guns hurt. Plus, then you've marked them, right? Then you've splattered them with paint so that if they do get caught, because that's what would happen to us, right? They would come over the fence and then he would call us knowing that we were like a block away and be like, hey, they're in the backyard. And my husband at the time and I would like throw on our jackets and shoes and run out front and each go in a different direction around the block to see if we could catch them or spot a vehicle or something that we could report. I don't think we ever busted anybody though. All we did was get woken up in the middle of the night a lot, which was very annoying. Justine, speaking of losing stations, you just realized we lost 92.9 in September. I don't know that one. Oh, it went to Bloomberg, huh? Yeah. We have a station like that here. KGO was a big news station in San Francisco and now no longer exists. It is gone. Oh, thanks, Red. Yeah. Metal. You know what, Michelle? It would make a great Netflix series. So would a lot of radio stories, honestly. I mean, WKRP is still amazing. Maybe it's just is to me because I grew up in radio. Ooh, how did we end up early? 3, 6, 7. Oh, okay, we're not that early. We're like 2 minutes early. It's fine. It's fine. Sorry. I'm just all. Okay, we're fine. Yeah, I ended up recording a bunch of stuff in advance because I had jury duty today and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it in, but I ended up making it in. But I wanted to have the show in just in case I got called in and couldn't do it at the last minute. So I got all my time for you guys until I need to go because I need to go. Plus, I got to have all my focus on the road, apparently, because it's atmospheric river out there right now. Clinton was all up in a few things besides business. Yes, he was. Yes, Red, fuck Clear Channel all the way. Yeah, Dan, Disney bought ABC in 90. Oh, Disney bought ABC in 96? I think Disney and ABC merged after 96. I feel like I remember that happening closer to the turn of the century, but you may be right. I'm not gonna die on that hill. Yes, Michelle, he loves cigars. Didn't he just put out a book where he says that he apologized publicly to Hillary, but never to her face? Okay. Donald, what's up? Bill Clinton was doing 2 jobs, running the country and doing business on the side. I wouldn't call what he was doing on the side business. He was getting busy, but I wouldn't call it business. Yeah, Justine, it is sad. We are losing stations left and right, and it's going to keep happening. But we also lost record companies left and right. And what ended up happening was now everybody can make music in their garage, and we're inundated with like everybody uploading all their shit, right? So I think we're going to end up with a bunch of online stations. The online, because when I quit the radio station, I had an online station, and then I ended up losing the online station when they changed the what do you call it? The ASCAP rules, basically the royalties rules, right? How the royalties would get paid. So they changed the rules for those, but then they changed them again, and now they're more affordable. And it's entirely possible that we could get like new legislation to change the ASCAP rules or the royalty rules or however people get paid so that it is more affordable for people to do their own online radio stations. And then we'll just have ridiculous amounts of them. And then it'll be like satellite radio, right? Where it's like no personality, but like a shit ton of stations, or other internet radio stations like Pandora, right? Where you put in an algorithm, you put in like something, and then the algorithm decides what that means. When I did voiceover for Pandora, I started a Pandora station. I didn't start a Pandora station. I did a, what do you call that? You know, when you log in and it's like, create your own station. So I logged in to see how it worked, and I created a Susie and the Banshee station. And sorry, vitamins were still at the bottom. Anyway, and then I listened to it to see how it constructed the station. And it's weird because like the algorithm picks songs that have nothing to do with Susie and the Banshees. And it doesn't know whether or not I want punk era Susie or goth era Susie. And then it can actually only play Susie less than it plays some other artists. You know, like I picked Switchblade Symphony as a secondary artist to kind of like color the station in a more goth direction. And now it literally plays me more Switchblade Symphony songs than it plays me Susie songs. It's super weird. But also very limited choices there, right? Like if you listen often enough and long enough, you will hear the same shit just like you do on the radio. The difference is there's no personality there talking to you. And at that point, it is just like satellite, but without a personality. You're just you just have to constantly keep changing channels to get different music. I don't know. I wish I had better answers, but there's just a lot up in the air right now. I mean, with the world, like globally, we are up in the air right now. So corporate is up in the air right now. So whole industries are up in the air right now. Unless you're in the for-profit prison industry, which I understand you're making a fucking fortune right now, just in stock alone. Jacob, you want a bone shirt and a patch? Good luck. We don't have any way to make those or sell them. We just have an allotment that we take to events. And I think you have to enter to win one, or we throw them out in the crowd and you'd have to catch it. That would be a bonus, Justine. That would be a bonus bone if a band was in town and your favorite station was going to have a spot at the venue. Cliff, grow tents, also big dogs. I would be afraid. They had big dogs, actually. My friend who was growing pot had 2 huge dogs. Huge. But we got very afraid that somebody might try to hurt the dogs in order to get to the weed. So they had to keep the dogs inside because they were afraid that these people would like throw something over the fence to poison the dogs before they tried to steal the pot. So they had to keep the dogs inside all the time. Totally, Cliff. It sucks to put in all that work to have somebody literally reap your benefits. What's this, Brad? New platforms have allowed people to reinvent themselves on Facebook Live, podcasts, audiobooks, etc., in radio. Abso-fucking-lutely. And, for example, in the case of Joe Rogan, to do better than they did on TV or radio. I still can't believe Joe Rogan is fucking rich as shit. So weird. I mean, I met him a bunch of times. Not a bunch, but like a handful. Because he used to play Cobbs in Punchline. Well, not Punchline. He was playing Cobbs by the time I met him. But yeah, he would do Cobbs a lot. And I would go out and see him and then hang out afterwards. Usually I'd know the opener or something. Dan, morning shows like Bob and Tom? Yes. That's what a morning show is, like Bob and Tom. Oh, thanks, Red. I'm trying to be on the spot with everything. Yes, Brad, risk management and cost-benefit analysis and return on investment. There's a lot of factors with all of it. Mike, the new Lucky Supermarket owners are trying to cut the full-time people. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's if they're a union, they'll strike. Yeah. I remember part of my job in concerts was to buy all the food for the dressing rooms. And so I spent 20 years shopping at Safeway, and Safeway was union. And I was around when Safeway had a strike. And then I watched them negotiate for a very bad contract. And then I watched a lot of people like work out to their retirement at Safeway. And now Safeway is a terrible place to shop. I mean, I don't know if you've been to Safeway and tried to get anybody to help you with anything, but forget about it. They've got almost no staff. Everybody who's working is working behind a register or behind a deli counter or stocking. And good luck finding the stockers because they don't come out until late. And the quality of their produce has really gone down and their prices have gone way up. Like, I don't know if that it had anything to do with the union. I think it had more to do with Safeway's cost cutting measures, but part of that was, trying to break the union down. Hey, Kat. Yeah, seniority does not mean anything at all. It, like I said, at this point, it just puts a target on your back. And that's what I try to tell people. Listen, when you see people like Tom Tolbert and Lamont Snelly, who were on the air here for decades, it's a testament to how great they were because somebody carved out a fat chunk of budget for them every year without question. That's how important they were. That's how good they were. It's just that at some point the rubber meets the road. And that's where we are right now as an industry, not just as the bone. Hi, Alan. How's it going? Brad, I need to add some commercials and then get everyone to pay $4.99. to go commercial free. Well, I'll tell you what, if I can get somebody to buy commercial time, I will do it. Oh, Michelle, you see Tio? I don't see him. Tio, did he comment? Andy Drake. Yeah, Gen V. I mean, basically, of course, the boys and Gen V, because the boys is coming up on its last season, right? But Gen V, I hope, has a couple more going. Although after we lost, what's his name? That main actor who was so great in Sabrina and was in Gen V. Poor guy. Rodney, the Jelly Belly factory is in Fairfield. Duh. I grew up there. Of course I know where the Jelly Belly factory is. Hey, Kathleen. Quick hi, not sticking around. Oh, by the time I got to your comment, you might not have stuck around for me to say hi, but hi. Sorry. Hey, Miguel. What's up? Winterville, Carolina. Are you still there? Didn't the Carolinas get pummeled pretty badly recently? Dan, you got about 300 for EBT during the pandemic? Oh, well, that's the beauty of it, right? As long as I have some money on my EBT card, because I stopped receiving assistance years ago, right? But because I have that EBT card with some money on it, and believe me, it's not much, but I have it on there with some money on it, then as long as I have that, I'm considered low income, and they only charge me a low income rate for Amazon Prime. And I don't feel bad about it at all, because when I was low income during the pandemic and getting nothing and just like living on assistance, I tried to use my EBT card to have Amazon deliver food to me, and there is nothing healthy available in my area. Amazon Pantry doesn't deliver to my area, and so and then Whole Foods didn't count, and so all I could do was order stuff on Amazon Prime, and it was all like Capri Suns and Red Bull and like corporate brands of garbage and very few organics. It was all just like crap I wouldn't eat, you know? And it's like, is this how we treat people who are less fortunate? Do we decide that if you're poor and you're getting government money that you don't get healthy food? I don't know, but I think that's why Amazon is offering the discount to attract people and then bamboozle them with garbage food and higher prices, by the way. As soon as I clicked EBT eligible, ridiculous prices for stuff. I was like, why would I pay that for? It's cheaper at Target down the street. Like, are you kidding me right now? So yeah. But it's nearly impossible to avoid corporations because they own everything. Oh, so now what I do is I've got the card, and EBT won't cancel the card as long as I spend on it like once every 6 months. So I wait until I get a letter from EBT that's like, hey, we're going to cancel your card if you haven't used it in 6 months. And then I buy like a salt shaker from Amazon. And then I wait another 6 months. But I think I'm down to like $5. So I think that's only like 1 or 2 more salt shakers. Ah, John, you're funny. It's true though. I can't avoid buying shoes. I have avoided buying shoes though. The only shoes I bought were some shoes for the treadmill. I have not bought any cute shoes in the last year because I have been trying to cut back. But you're right. I am going to do that OnlyFans, and I'm going to put my shoes on for sale because I do have a lot of shoes. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. I have hundreds of pairs of shoes that I really don't need anymore. Netflix in Canada is $26.99 for the family pack. Tell you what, Brad, here's my Netflix hack. So my sister has the Netflix account, and the contact information is her email and my phone number. So whenever we log into Netflix and Netflix is like, you're not part of the household, we're going to have to create a new account for you. If you look underneath it, it says, or update your account. So I go and I update the account, and then it's like, how can we verify this is you? Email or phone? I click phone, I get a text, boom, 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 Netflix back up. And then when my sister logs in, she gets the same thing, and then she clicks email, she gets the confirmation, boom, Netflix is back up. So the two of us are still Still sharing a Netflix account that way because fuck corporate. We do that same thing with Hulu and and Max. Every time one of us gets a streaming service, we immediately just share the passwords between the two of us because fuck them. They overcharge for their shit anyway. You can get paintballs with pepper spray in them, Brad. Oh, I did not know that. Oh, Justine, it's in Boston, 92 FM Boston. Is that the KAAR? What was that? WAAF? Was that it? Do you know what the call letters were for that station, Justine? Because I did know somebody at Annalisa, who used to be on KFOG, moved back to Boston and was on the air out there. And I think it was WAAF that she was on. I hope that's not the station that went under. I haven't been on. I don't use my friend Facebook anymore, but I might have to crank it up just to see how many people I know that got fired. Yeah, Raymond, sorry, man. KGO is gone. KGO's been gone though. KGO became The Spread 2 years ago. I think 3 years ago. The Spread was a betting channel. It was all about betting. Rodney, you remember Kid? I'm not sure what that means. I might be too far out of context. It's time to watch the Turkeys Can't Fly episode of WKRP. As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. Every single person in radio knows that reference. Most of Gen X does too. But Dan, you got your holiday ham from Pantry Delivery? Cool. Andy, it was 95? 95 what? The Communications Act or when Disney bought ABC? I remember Disney. I think I was thinking of the Disney AT&T merger. That's the one that happened in the aughts. My bad. Sorry, Dan. You were right. Yes, Tony. WKRP ruled and Bailey was hot. Jennifer was hot too. Andy was hot. There's a lot of hot people on WKRP. I will drive carefully, Rodney, I promise. Oh, look, Kathleen giving me the Disney ABC as well. Yes. Now that we mention it, I do realize I was confusing the ABC Disney merger with the AT&T Disney merger. So sorry. Sometimes that happens in my scrambled brain. Yeah, John, everybody's got a goddamn podcast too. Hey, John Hall. Multiple Johns now. How do I feel about the new mayor? Oh, John, you're okay. I don't know if I have time for all of these, but I'm going to try and give you like really quick answers on them because I do have to kind of start wrapping it up. I'll be honest, I don't have really feelings on the new mayor because I don't live in San Francisco, so I can't vote on the mayor. And so I didn't really look into who was running because I couldn't affect it. Couldn't have anything to do with it. I just work here and come here constantly. So I'm sure that my friends who live here will let me know right away what they think. I do think that London Breed should have done better. And I think that by the time I think she was also the victim of bad press, but I think she also could have done better. I don't think she was as bad as people think she was, but I think she wasn't good. Does that make any sense? I'm not sad to see her go, but I do hope that whoever is coming in still continues to attempt to revamp and revitalize downtown San Francisco, because I did like the direction she was going in for the overall overarching plan that she had for downtown San Francisco, using Las Vegas as a model to make it more of an entertainment center than a commerce or business center. My thoughts on Biden approving long-range missile use when the rest of Europe did not agree. I am less mad about the long-range missiles than I am about the landmines. I think that the landmine, I just don't know why we as a nation would not sign the landmine treaty and then would supply landmines to people. I think the landmines have far more long-reaching consequences because no one ever seems to be able to remove them or tries to remove them, and they inevitably end up blowing up children years after the conflict. They're still trying to remove landmines from, like, I don't know, Belarus or whatever, like Serbia. You know, there's the landmines are, and it's hard to say landmines are worse than long-range missiles because both of them are going to blow people up. But at least the long-range missiles, and this is at the very least, because it's not like a bonus point, but at least long-range missiles are part of the conflict as it stands now. Landmines kill people long after the conflict is over. So, as far as Biden letting the Ukraine have these long-range missiles now, I think that's kind of a fuck you to Trump, because the suspicion is that Trump is going to cut off aid to Ukraine entirely. So I think he's like, well, fuck it. How do we get Ukraine to make as much, to gain as much ground as we can before Trump comes in and cuts off their aid? Well, shit, let's give them these long-range missiles and blow up some Russia. I don't like that idea. Not because I have a problem blowing up Russia, but because it's way too close to the US attacking Russia, especially when all you got to do is give Putin an inch and he'll take a mile. But we'll see. You know, shit that's above my pay grade. And again, I am not a Democrat, so just know that it's in my nature to not like Democrats and Democrat decisions. But the Republicans are so batshit that I'll take Democrat sanity over Republican insanity every day and twice on Sunday. Because, like I said, Trump is probably going to just cut off aid to Ukraine and let Putin annex, which is fucking Hitlerish, you know? I mean, we're not supposed to be giving Russia all this ground. Like, that's crazy to me. Hyperdrive Kittens, what's up? Oh, thank you, doll. Appreciates it. I do love a kitten-related pun, so come by anytime. Rodney, Howard Stern as well as what? Howard Stern didn't get fired. Oh, you mean like Howard Stern and Joe Rogan making stupid amounts of money since leaving radio? Hell yeah. Oh, thanks, PJ. Good night, good night. You drive safe too, because apparently there's atmospheric rivers. Hi, Tom. Unfortunately, that's government feed. Your holiday ham is government feed? Is that what you're saying, Dan? Exactly, Justine. People with EBT are treated like they don't deserve decent food, and that is not how it works. Tom, I have seen how the government treats veterans, and in some cases, it really bothers me, and in other cases, I've been really grateful. Namely, my stepfather was a veteran, and when he passed away, before he passed away, he was in the hospital in ICU, and it would have cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they took care of it, and they took care of all of his funeral expenses and everything. Now, the flip side to that is the cancer that killed him and caused all this was also because of his service in Vietnam. So, yeah. But I got a lot of issues with the military as well. You know, the military is super rapey. The military is a bottomless pit of money. Remember how they turned on Clinton when he tried to close bases? And it's like, has anybody missed Moffett Field? Fort Ord? Anybody like, oh my God, national security has been threatened for 30 years because of the loss of Fort Ord? No. And then Trump goes and creates Space Force. Here's $30 billion in a brand new branch of the government a branch of the military that we don't need. Let's expand the military budget that's already so bloated, but okay. Yeah. Oh God, no, Michelle, I will never sell my, their Prada. I will never sell the Prada hot rods from Prada 2012 spring collection. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm only sorry I didn't buy more from that collection because there were so many amazing shoes. In fact, I didn't get the ones I wanted from that collection. I got the only ones I could get my hands on. You can tell that because they have pink on them, and I'm not big on pink, but they are still very, very cool. Oh, thanks, Justine. I would obviously keep my favorite shoes. Did you get the part where I said I literally have hundreds? Hundreds. That is multiples of 100 of shoes. I could sell shoes. I could sell 150 pairs of shoes and not even notice that I was missing some shoes. I got to be honest. I don't know, Red, if that's the station. Justine said that a station went down, and I don't know what the call letters were. She just gave me the numbers, and I'm not familiar enough with Boston to know which one is gone. So do not quote me on that. And yeah, John, I mean, fuck all corporate, but also corporate is too big to fail now. So we can't fuck all corporate, because then we would throw off the balance of the universe. KIDD AM radio? Oh, Rodney, I've never even heard of that. Yeah, Tom's KSJO was the Bay Area's best rock for a minute. Remember when we had all those signals? 92.1, 92.3, 92.7? That was awesome. Short-lived, though. Oh, there you go. Okay, Red, it was WBOS 92.9. Oh, WAAF has been gone? Oh, shit. All right. I got to see which one Annalisa was on. I haven't talked to her for a while. Tracy, you loved Len Tillum when he was on KGO, and the guy that dropped the F-bomb on air. Ooh, I wonder who that was. Of course you're going to get fired if you drop an F-bomb on air. That's just facts. Oh, he didn't know he had a hot mic? Oh, well, I mean, if you have no idea, that's really unfair to fire somebody for that. There must have been something more to that. I've seen radio personalities have things like that happen and be covered, or get fired and come back. Larry Krueger, for example, remember when he got fired over that Caribbean Idiots comment, and Coach Alou went on like the fucking Tonight Show or some shit and was like, called out KMBR for being racist, and Krueger got fired, and Krueger's on KMBR right now talking about the 49ers. Speaking of somebody with a huge internet following that didn't need to be on radio anymore after Krueger got fired from, was it KMBR again? Or was he ever on the game? I can't remember. He's got an incredibly successful YouTube page now and podcast. So who knows? YouTube, Twitch might be the future of radio. It's hard to say. I mean, here's the thing, right? This is why I'm saying corporations can't pivot quickly. If we were a small, locally owned station in the tech-heavy sector of San Francisco, and there was like one boss, we could go to that one boss and be like, hey, what would it take for us to simulcast on all these live streams, right? Why wouldn't we live stream, including the music? How much more would that cost us with royalty rights? And that one person could decide that paying that is worth it because of the advantage it would give us in the ability to build a 360-degree marketing package for people that encompasses both digital and analog audio. But a corporation's going to be like, we can't do that. If you scaled that across all these different stations and it would just be outrageous, and so on and so forth. So it's a big ship to turn around when you're owned by a corporation. It's hard to pivot to market changes. Although I do think that a lot of these digital market changes have been coming long enough that somebody could have seen it, but that's above my pay grade. Nobody listens to me. Oh, well, it's not KGO, Jim. They didn't bring KGO back with the syndicated right-wing news talk. It's KSFO. KSFO has always been here. It's just that nobody paid attention to it because, right-wing conservative talk, no one liked that. But it was always that one little AM signal that was just banging around until Trump, and then it got popular, and now it's not super popular, but it's still popular enough that it's not going away. The spread has gone away, and with it, KGO, and they are moving the signal of KSFO to where the signal for KGO used to be, but the KGO call letters are now gone. I know it's complicated, but it's radio. The call letters are definitely gone. Tom, you used to live in the Bay Area? Well, it's still beautiful here. John, the long-range missiles is what many consider will lead to full war with Russia involving the U.S. directly. It's a possibility, but let's face it, John, anything can lead to full war with Russia. And if it involves the U.S. directly, it involves NATO. There's no way around that. There's no like, the U.S. is on their own. No. So I think that it's, is Biden trying to take a shit on the desk before Trump comes in? Maybe he's like, here, deal with this turd. And if that's the case, wow. Talk about fighting fire with fire, so to speak. Also, we've really been kowtowing to Putin for a very long time, especially when it comes to this Ukraine conflict. And he's been blustering, and we've been kind of turning the other cheek for a very long time. So I don't think it's a wholly unreasonable reaction to provide them with long-range missiles. But the timing is questionable, and the judgment on whole is somewhat questionable. I think that I think we've all been doing this little delicate dance around the Ukraine conflict because no one wants to just go to Putin and be like, listen, dude, we are done. We're done playing with you. But that's what Trump's promised to do, right? Trump's promised to be like, Vlad, I'm done playing with you. I will nuke it. Here's the thing, John. Like, again, I don't like either of them, but Trump has threatened nuclear action in the past, and Biden is providing an intermediary with long-range missiles. Okay. Like, the whole thing is a shit show, all from top to bottom. Does it get better? Do we arm Ukraine as best we can before Trump comes in and hands the Ukraine to Russia? I think that's where we're at right now. Dan, so is there going to be no more Milhouse on The Simpsons? Oh God, I have no idea, dude. I don't know what's going on with The Simpsons at all. Not even a little bit. So Dan, you get EBT and you don't get a lot of options. There was a thing for farmers markets where they give you an extra $15 for fruit and veggies if you get scripts there. Oh yeah, I did that because during the pandemic I had the time. So yeah, you could, and the farmers market was outdoors. So, if you were worried about catching COVID or whatever, you were outdoors. So it was relatively safe. But yeah, I did that. I went to, the hard part about going to the farmers market with an EBT card is that you have to know how much you're going to spend, because you have to go to this kiosk and they give you like Monopoly money. So they do give you like an extra, like you said, like an extra $15. You get like an extra, I want to say it's like an extra 15% up to $50 or something like that. So it's like an extra $10 or $15 or whatever it is. And then, but to do that, you have to go and give them your EBT card, and they take the money off your EBT card, and then they give you like fake money that you can't use anywhere else, right? It's like going to the arcade and getting tokens. So I either have to know how much I'm spending so I have enough funny money to pay for stuff, or I have to take out extra money and hope that I don't have funny money left over and end up spending too much. Like, it's not ideal. But you get the extra cash, so that helps. We don't need Space Force yet. No, Rodney, we just don't need Space Force. We have an Air Force. Space is also air. Space Force is dumb. It's just an excuse to dump billions back into the military. It's just an excuse. Like, we already can't even get enough soldiers in the branches that we have. We already spend outrageous amounts of money recruiting. All those flyovers at the fucking football games that our tax dollars are paying for, as recruiting money, why do we need another branch of the military to spend more money on everything? Like, it's just a way to funnel taxpayer money into shit that taxpayers never benefit from. When was the last time you benefited from Space Force? I mean, they got a song. They got a theme song. So, yeah. Yeah, people living and fighting in space are definitely quite a long ways off, Rodney. You are 100% correct. Shit, guys, it's getting hella late. I got to go. Let me see if I can answer the last of these questions. Peter, if you have a son in the Navy or the Air Force, write to them. If you have a son with the Marine Corps, pray for them. Walter Winchell. Okay. I mean, they do call Marines bullet catchers. They do go in first. I mean, honestly, yeah, Walter Winchell died like 100 years ago. Not quite, I know, but I'm exaggerating, but still. Let's not have inter-military branch arguments. You know, I mean, I got a million of them. My dad was in the Air Force, so you know, what's the difference between a pilot and between an airman and a seaman? No, I'm just kidding. What's the difference between God and a pilot? God doesn't think he can fly a plane. Let's see. The airman and a seaman run into each other in the bathroom. The airman leaves without washing his hands, and the seaman goes, you know, in the Navy, they teach us to wash our hands before we go. And the airman looks at him and goes, sailor. In the Air Force, they teach us not to piss on our hands. Like, sorry. I'm like Reader's Digest right now. Like a dirty Reader's Digest. Red, weaponizing space even more will be the end of us. Imagine space weapons getting hacked. Well, yeah. I mean, we don't have space weapon technology outside of like what's that going to do for us? Are we going to be able to launch rockets from space? As far as I know, we only have the technology to launch rockets into space and then have them fall back to where they reactivate, not reactivate, but where they have a secondary that puts them on target, right? I mean, it's a whole nother host of problems if they're originating from space, but also we still have to get them up into space. And I don't see the advantage. I mean, I guess there's a shorter warning system in theory. If we put nukes in orbit around the planet, then we will be faster at deploying them as opposed to launching them from the many places on the planet where we have them stored. None of that sounds like it's going to be a long-term advantage. It sounds like it's going to be a shit show. Good night, Red. Ooh, hot chocolate. That sounds good, Dan. Peter, his son was killed in boot camp. No one's supposed to die in boot camp, Peter. Boot camp is supposed to be a safe space. This is one of many problems with no one's supposed to get raped in the military either, but it happens a lot. More so than in the general population. Cue up Rocket by Def Leppard, right, Baby Huey? What? Hey, everybody, if you haven't had a chance yet, give Baby Huey props. He and Shasta have been holding down the morning show all week long. Going forward, they are the morning show in the interim until we like decide what to do, whatever it is we end up building here. And I think they've been doing a great job. If you haven't had a chance to catch it, please listen mornings, 107.7 The Bone FM on the app or at 1077thebone.com. John, what part of the Bay do I live in and when did I leave SF? I've never lived in San Francisco. I've always lived in the East Bay, and I've been in Contra Costa County since 99. Yeah. But before that, I was in Solano County. All right. Tickets and missiles, Rodney. All right. All right, guys. Hopefully I will have time to jump on tomorrow. We'll see how things go. And in the meantime, everybody just take care of each other. Be a little bit nicer to everyone because we're all going through some shit. Oh, Rodney, that Star Wars was supposed to be. So Star Wars was supposed to be stopping missiles in space, and it was all garbage. It was trillions of dollars wasted, or billions. I can't remember what it was back then, but yeah, that was like Space Force. It was another bottomless pit of funding that went nowhere and did nothing. Taxpayer dollars. Michelle, it would be interesting to have local bands to do traffic in the mornings. No, it wouldn't. That would be awful. Are you kidding me? Clearly, you don't know how hard it is to read traffic. Trust me, it's a. You're editing the podcast. Nice. Hey, I was actually going to text you and see if I noticed that Laughter at 10 After was in the logs for tomorrow. Does that mean you have clipped some highlights for me and we are back on Laughter at 10 After? Because I did send an email today for like alternatives to Laughter at 10 After. But if you saw the email, you know that my first choice was to keep it. Hey, Yvonne. No, Michelle. Just no on that one. What I think local bands could do is be local bands. Maybe they could do a concert calendar. I could see that. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Danny. I mean, it's not a big deal. Nothing crucial. It was just like, just trying to source out what we're going to end up thinking about going forward. But tomorrow. Well, I'll tell you what, if you guys have time to look at it tomorrow, cool. Or if you have a clip that we could use, I think that would be awesome. But if not, then, and I see it when I come in tomorrow, I'll just delete it and throw in like a 2-minute song, or I'll probably have enough music that I can adjust and it'll be fine. I don't want to throw more on your guys' plate, I just got all excited when I saw it because I thought maybe, and because I saw that you guys had a podcast. And so I thought that maybe I would be able to keep it. At any rate, good night, guys. Don't forget to listen to Danny and Shasta tomorrow morning. They have been working really hard on their morning show, and I think it's coming out great. And I will be back here tomorrow. Please listen, because radio does still exist. It is still alive, and we are still here holding it down at 107.7 FM, 107.7thebone.com, and on the Bone app. Good night, guys. Justine, Danny is Baby Huey's actual name. Baby Huey's is his DJ name, nickname. Yeah. Hey, Michael. Sorry, you're tapping in just as I'm tapping out. Take care, Bismarck. Yep, there you go, guys. I think it'll let you continue to chat after I leave, but I have got to pee. Oh, I was saying Shasta and Danny. Oh, I see. Okay.